Okay, welcome everybody to the first virtual seminar for Accra Fashion Week. My name is Nana. I'm the founder of Fashion Ghana and the CEO of Accra Fashion Week. So this year we're trying something different. We have seminars with lots of students and a lot of guests that want to come and hear, very powerful information by most of our guests. But this time we're bringing it to you live and straight from my bedroom. We're going to have some guests who are going to touch on some very important topics. I've been the organizer and the coordinator behind Accra Fashion Week for the past 4 or 5 years in its existence. And there's a very hot topic when it comes to fashion, and that hot topic is dealing with the concept of buyers. When we talk about buyers and the whole concept of the buyer culture, it's almost non-existent in Africa. And it's a double-sided coin because most people believe that it's possibly the fault of the organizers, but in many cases, some people also believe that it's the fault of the designers, and the designers are probably the ones who are not ready for buyers. So basically, I'm going to have 2 guests on, and we're going to look at how Africa in itself can develop the buyer culture and why the buyer culture is missing in the first place in Africa. So just to give a little bit of a background, when we started Accra Fashion Week in 2016, sometime in 2015, we used to hear a lot of complaints from various designers in Ghana. They used to question, where are buyers at these fashion shows? So our main aim was to make a fashion week that sort of stresses on creating business for our designers. We wanted to move away from what we usually see, where it's just the glitz and the glamour and the entertainment and the runway and models, and actually bring something into our fashion process like distribution, manufacturing, having buyers and what have you. Over the years, we faced some difficulties in doing this. We've had buyers from all parts of the world, from America, UK, Switzerland, Germany. And the more we engaged with buyers from different parts of the world, the more we understood that most of the designers and the brands in Africa were not ready for buyers. Some of them came and they were amazed by their designs. They had meetings with the designers. And after those meetings, they started to realize that a lot of these designers may have missed a few things, such as branding, quality, production, sizing, and what have you. So it's really to look at the state of the fashion industry now. That's what we want to do in this seminar, how Africa and African designers can adopt a better approach for international buyers, because even with some discussions with what some people call quote unquote top designers in Ghana, or should I say Africa, it seems like some of them have already ejected the concept of mass production and buyers from their business plans. And they're going with the couture, or they're going with the local markets. And to me, I feel like this should never be ejected, because just because we see it as a culture that has existed in Europe doesn't mean it can't be embraced in Africa. And so with that said, what I want to do is I want to bring in 2 people who have a lot of experience in the field of buying. And we're going to bounce back and forth with some ideas. I'm going to bring them up to date with some of the challenges that we faced, and they're going to share their response and their feedback, and we're going to take it forward. So the first colleague I want to bring in is a lady by the name of Hanimanns. A lady by the name of Melanie. She runs an agency, a designer agency called Hanimanns. And basically, she is also a buyer. She's based in Switzerland. She works with lots of African and West African designers and showcases their stuff to the world. And they sort of work hand in hand in terms of management and what have you. The other colleague I want to introduce, and I want to get his name right, so I've got my notes. His name is Moshe Silberberg. He's the co-owner and buyer at RIJOUX, retailers of luxury brands and designers family business. That's been running for 40 years in the luxury market since 1975. So we're not dealing with an amateur here. So these two individuals are going to join us, and then we're going to bounce back and forth and then, share some ideas. But first, I would just like them to share their thoughts on the general idea of why there isn't a strong buyer culture in Africa and what their thoughts on it are. So first, let's get Melanie in, and let's get Moshe in. Hi, guys. Hi, Melanie.
Hi.
Moshe.
Hi.
Great. So first, I'll go to each one of you to introduce yourselves. Then, before we start sharing your thoughts, so Melanie, if you can introduce yourself for everyone to know.
Sure. My name is Malanie Hanimann. I'm a fashion agent. I have my own fashion agency called Hanimanns, and I represent West African brands and represent them in the European market. Okay. And I've been into the fashion field for a long time already, so it's my passion.
Perfect. And Moshe, give us a little intro.
I am a fashion co-owner. We are a family business. We are retailers. We are based in luxury hotels. Three hotel locations, big hotels of about 500 and 600 rooms in Tel Aviv, Israel. We are importing designers and new talents to Emirating designers, and also established and known brands like the big ones, Versace and so on.
Perfect. So let's start with you, Melissa, because you're actually in Ghana right now, right?
I am, yes. I'm half based in Ghana and in Switzerland. Now in Ghana.
And you come here specifically for fashion and the fashion brands, right?
Yes.
Okay. Wow. So give us your experience why the buyer culture in Ghana is missing. Just run free for 10 minutes. Just share your thoughts, experience everything, and let us know where you stand on this.
Oh wow! I mean, the fashion history in Europe is very old already. I mean, fashion is. We cultivated this entire fashion week and buyer culture for a long time already, and I think fashion in West Africa, as far as I know, was very much on tailor-made. So there is at the moment not really a buyer industry there. Okay. Yeah.
And Moshe, your thoughts on you said you used to work with designers in Congo. Your thoughts on why you feel like
I used to live in Congo.
Okay.
Yeah, and we have some clients in Africa.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So what do you think is needed, Melissa? What do you think is needed? Because you said we have a lot of tailors in Ghana, as opposed to designers that are ready for the buyer culture. What do you think is needed for that transition so they can be better equipped for agencies like yourself?
Well, I think at the moment the business is very business to customer based, and not business to business, and that's the problem. Because Fashion Week actually, or what I'm used to at Fashion Week is that it's a business to business. So the end consumer is not even there. The end consumer is not really at Fashion Week, but you have the buyers and they go to the showrooms, they buy, there are fairs. This is business going on. And this is not happening here at all. So most of the fashion shows I went here is still for the consumer.
Right. And I agree with that, because we've been organizing Accra Fashion Week for, like I said, 4 to 5 years. And a lot of times we advise the designers to make their collections in advance.
I know, yeah.
Right. And then be ready not to sell it at the show or make it available at the show, but be ready to connect with buyers, whether it's through the internet, whether it's through those who attend the shows. So you can have a sort of business plan on how to distribute your outfits. But it seems like most times designers, when they come on fashion shows in Africa, the first thing they want to do is put a collection that they're already selling. And buyers are not in, exactly. No one is going to, yeah. You want to add to that?
Yeah, it's because, I mean, it's a lot also about investment. If you produce or if you design a collection, you need money to produce it. You need to pay the tailors, you need to pay the material and the fabrics. So if you spend all that money, you are nervous and you want to get that money back. So you want to sell the stuff. To produce something for one season ahead, this is a lot of investment. Yeah. So I really believe that to get this running and to start everything, we need to invest in the designers so they have a peace of mind to design ahead without worrying that they will only sell it 1 year later. Right.
And I think that's one of the biggest problems, the investment stage, because we don't have so many wealthy designers here. Moshe, you mentioned that you work with a lot of the top brands. Do you also work with any sort of local or young new brands?
Many, yes, many.
And what's the difference in your experience between the local brands and the top brands? Like, how do you find the difference in working with the two?
Not really local. Let's talk about new brands or not known as others. I mean, today, I believe you can push the designers in Ghana if they will be, for example, available for online shops. Sell it without carrying the goods, without having the stock, by drop shipping. Develop this kind of platform, also to be in RIJOUX access, which is an online showroom, so buyers can place an order online. But also today it becomes very online world. So if you develop something with a drop shipping, so a blogger or a shop can see the product and purchase it online, because today it's a lot online, it will be great, because then a lot of shops or bloggers or etc. can add the inventory to their online shop and sell it.
Okay. Yeah, so I think that's because, to be honest, those are two areas I wanted to get into. I definitely wanted to look into the online retail as well as the branding. When we look at online retail, I think it's definitely a great advantage for designers in Africa. I mean, the odd person who just sews his skirt or a top can now have a market, but at the same time too, that comes with a lot of competition. Because if you go to, and I don't want to promote any of the major online retail stores, so I don't want to mention their names, but if you go to those ones, you're looking at tops for $15. You're looking at shorts and dresses for $15 to $20. And yet, even in Africa, the odd designer would have an issue selling something for even $50, let alone the additional cost of shipping and what have you. So when it comes to that stage, we're still going to be, African designers are still going to be losing. And this is not just African designers, this is any young designer, no matter which part of the world they're in. They're still going to have to compete with these prices. So to me, the next level, when we talk about the advantage of the internet, is the concept of branding, because now you have to compete with these other creatives based on selling your stuff at a higher price. So the question is, what branding are you doing to make your item worth that value? What branding are you doing? So when someone sees that African designer's clothes, they're going to be like, oh, wow, I'm going to spend $200 on this. And so the question is, are African brands falling short when it comes to branding their clothes? Where do you stand on this, Melanie? Sorry.
Yeah. Yes, what you said is very right. That I think the designers, they can't compete with the fast fashion, because fast fashion, which is coming from Asia, is cheap. And if you produce here in Africa, they will never be able to compete. So as a designer, I recommend to try to get into the premium fashion segment, or premium market, which is, for example, Max Mara is in this premium segment, Hugo Boss in this premium segment, so that you also can sell it for a higher price. But that means that the entire marketing and also the quality, but the entire branding has to be in that level. So I think they really have to not copy, but get inspired by the premium fashion brands around the world.
And Moshe, have you worked with any?
Does that answer your question? I'm not sure.
Oh, yeah, no, it definitely does, because I think what we're doing is I think what I'm personally seeing with a lot of the African brands is I'm seeing them competing with themselves, and most of the times,
yes,
the people they're competing with haven't really broken those boundaries or those barriers. I don't see them looking at what's going on internationally and taking inspiration to say, hey, look, I want to become an international brand. So I agree with what you're saying. They need to look at those major brands and take something from. Were you going to add to that?
Yes, I wanted to say that at the end, these are also the clients, or these are also this should also be the target client, the ones who buy the premium brands from all over the world.
Yeah. Moshe, have you worked with any African brands within your time of? Not at all. Have they reached out to you? Have you are there any of them that know you and have said, hey, you do this, we know you do this, but they haven't reached out to you, or you haven't come across any?
I haven't came across any African designer.
Okay. So most of the new brands that you say you work with, are they local in Israel?
No, I have from Tbilisi, from Korea, from Ukraine, from Russia, from...
And they reach out to you?
From Belgium, from Greece, from Turkey.
And do they reach out? They reach out?
Or in fairs or trade shows.
Okay, so they find out about you and they reach out to you, but you don't have African brands reaching out to you?
No.
Okay. Well, I mean, that goes to show, because it goes to show that the culture is very sort of limited here. But what I wanted to sort of add to the mix is that when we look at mass production here, like you said, these designers are going to need some sort of investment. If they don't have an investment, do you have any ideas how they can leverage themselves? I'll give you an example. In Africa, we have so many fashion shops. In my area alone, there's about 60 fashion shops, but most of the products that are being sold, there are products from America, from Europe, from China. We went to almost 400 shops across Ghana. This was when we were starting Accra Fashion Week, and we were trying to sell them the concept of embracing designers. And most of them rejected the notion, they rejected the idea. Most of them were complaining about the prices and the quality that they would have to deal with when working with Ghanaian designers. And we had to explain to them that we've got so many creative designers that are doing couture, that are doing ready to wear, but it's almost like even in Ghana, most of these designers are not even known locally, and I'm sure you would know about this, Melanie. It's like once you step out of the fashion world, nobody knows about these designers. So how can you go to a buyer in a foreign country, let alone the ones in your own country, don't even know who you are? And you're now trying to sell to a foreigner a product that people in your country are not even buying. What do you make of this in terms of how the relationship between because I personally believe that it's beautiful to have buyers from all these different countries if you can get them. But I personally believe that it's important to at least have some roots or have a base or have some sales going on in Ghana that you can produce mass amounts in. So when you're selling abroad, you're only sending out a percentage of what you're producing heavily in Ghana. What do you make of this, Melissa?
I agree with you, and I think it's very sad that a lot of the local people don't appreciate their own designers. And I don't even want to say it out loud, but I have a feeling that it is sometimes this colonialism mindset that everything from the outside is better than what is here already. And I think that needs like a big push to change this entire mindset, that people start to appreciate what is already here.
And do you think that has to work through media?
Because it's sad. I mean, I don't have anything to add what you're saying.
Yeah, but do you
everything
think that...
I think there is people need to change. Sorry.
No, sorry, carry on. There was a delay. Carry on.
Yeah, I think people have to change. Media has to change, and designers have to be proud of themselves. And yeah, I think also buyers from outside can help to bring the designers and to appreciate it, so that the local people will think, okay, so even foreigners are coming to buy it, so maybe it is a good product. I don't know. I don't know. It's sad.
I'm going to play devil's advocate, and I'm going to say, I think the blame is on the designers, because they need to realize that, yes, you're competing with Joe and Fred from your neighborhood, but you're also competing with the Gucci and the Versace that are making so much sales in Africa. So you need to raise your standards. You need to get on billboards. You need to do TV adverts. You need to do paid internet advertisement. You need to be able to sell to your own Ghanaian people so they can see you just as big as those international brands. What do you make of that point, if you're still on? Hello, Melanie? Okay, I think we lost Melanie. Moshe, you there?
Yeah.
So how go ahead.
I think they should start. I think it's first is the online presence. Inventor to have stock, to sell on Instagram, to sell on a website, Amazon shops, and then to give the opportunity to other shops to do drop shipping, and then also to approach other buyers and to build themselves. It's not in one day that you become Gucci and Versace, and you have outlets and retails all over the world with the 500 boutique stores. It's not going to happen in 1 year and in 5 years. So they have to build themselves slow.
And you know, in your hotels, when the clients are looking for the clothes, how is their reaction towards the new brands, you know, the ones you get from Russia, Turkey, Korea? How do they treat them compared to how they treat the major brands? How is the reaction?
Sometimes some clients, for them it's more interesting because they don't see these brand mix or pieces in other place. So it makes the store more unique.
Yeah.
They offer other, more stuff.
And
I mean, you know, some big stores, they are carrying 600 brands, 1,000 brands, 500 brands. So we are about 50 brands and designers. Yes, we are also growing. Now we are opening another showroom, another store in Kempinski. So it's interesting.
And do you think your clients, I mean, I know you said you haven't got any African brands within your region, but do you think if you did, your clients would have an interest, or you think your clients are not really ready for African designers as of yet?
It depends on the collection.
It depends on the collection. Yeah. So I think we lost you for a second, Melanie, but you're back. I think the point I was asking was the designers, you know, as much as we can say it takes the whole society to get them that beauty in the eyes of the clients, at the end of the day, it's still their responsibility because it's their career. And they need to understand that they're not just competing with their fellow tailors from their neighborhoods. They need to understand that they're competing with Gucci and Versace. Yes, you don't have the budget that Gucci has, but as far as in your local country, you should be able to pull out something that can rival them, whether you're doing billboards, whether you're doing TV, whether you're doing paid Instagram ads. I think a lot of designers that are breaking through in Ghana right now are just sort of sitting back and relying on the Instagram. This is from my personal experience. I think once they're good, they're cool on Instagram, they don't do anything else. What do you make of that from your experience working in Ghana?
Yes, I agree. Again, I agree with you that, I mean, Instagram is a great platform to get out there. It was a big advantage for most of the designers. You suddenly are like everywhere, you're global in a minute. But at the end of the day, it is still a physical product, and everything, like the basics have to be right. So there is not just Instagram, there is a lot of other things you also have to do as a brand to be like sustainable as a good brand.
And what's
like sustainable in economic ways? Yeah.
What's your difficulty? Like, what is your personal difficulties working with African or Ghanaian designers? I know one of the first ones was when we had you at Accra Fashion Week. There was a designer you were really impressed by. I don't obviously want to go into the names of the designers, but then you went to visit the designer and you had some difficulties explaining to them what they need to do as a buyer. No, what they need to do as a designer appealing to a buyer. Can you share that experience with us and other difficulties you've had working with African brands?
Well, like the biggest difficulties I have is quality, because the clients in Europe, they have so many brands to compare with, and the quality is on point. And that is like the biggest struggle at the moment. So I go to the production side a lot, and we work on the quality and on the shapes and like quality. Yeah. The second thing was that this concept of an agent and to present in season, and like this entire fashion wheel, which is already going on in Europe, was not quite understood from a lot of designers here.
Right.
So they don't plan ahead, they don't design ahead in season. But that, I have to say, changed a bit, or at least with the designers I work with.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's very true. I think, you know, almost every designer we've worked with, we've had to explain to them what releasing a collection in season is about. And it's almost as if they don't understand that they're doing a show to launch a product. They see it as they're doing a show to tell everyone, here's how good I am, you know? And when you're launching a product like any other business, you have your marketing plan, you have all your testing of the product, you have all these things that you do before. Samsung won't put out their latest phone as soon as it's made. They're going to test it for some months. They're going to strategize their advertisement. They're going to strategize the celebrities who are going to get it for free. All of this happens before the day they launch it. Whereas in Africa, you have a situation where when we tell someone that the fashion week is on the 13th of January, they're going to finish their clothes on the 11th of January.
Exactly. The thing is, I learned that I shouldn't talk in seasons, because seasons is very European. We don't have seasons here. And also, I don't think that you have to have the new collection every season, but what you said, you have to plan ahead.
Yeah.
It's a business at the end. It's a business, and you have to plan ahead. You have to get your stuff done before everything is happening, and so on. So yeah.
Yeah. And Moshe, like what is your deciding factor that makes you sorry, Moshe, sorry for that. What is the deciding factor that makes you and your company decide, oh, we're going to put this brand, we're going to be biased to this brand? How do you decide? What do you look for in a brand?
The design.
Yeah.
The colors together, the collection, the story. Instagram, you can feel a little bit. You know, today we sell a lot of content and videos and these kind of things.
Okay, so when a brand proposes to you, you check out their Instagram, you check out their presentation. So what would you do if you had a brand that had very nice clothes, but maybe their Instagram was not so live or well organized? Would you turn away from them?
Depends how it looks. If it looks really bad, then yes.
Okay,
yeah,
so
me too.
So social media, and this is very important because I think about 2 weeks ago, I was speaking with some young designers, and I was telling them that you really need to watch your social media, because a lot of designers, they'll post pictures about their clothes, and then you'll see the next post is them taking a selfie or wishing their mom happy birthday and you're like, what has this got to do with
well,
your...
they need to have maybe personal Instagram and company Instagram. That's the right thing to roll.
To do.
I think.
Yeah.
Because the business Instagram is your business card, basically.
Yeah.
And the business card has to be clean and professional.
And what do you think? What do you think about websites? Do you think it's essential for designers to have a website?
Yes.
Yeah.
Before the Instagram.
Okay, because in Ghana there's maybe about 10 designer websites, and that's it. Everybody else is strictly.
But today it's very easy with all the platforms.
Very.
Yeah.
It's very, very easy. It's not as before.
Yeah.
Yeah. As I said before, it's Instagram is one part, but all of the basics have to be right.
Right.
When you have a brand. Yeah.
Right. So Hanimanns, I know you've got some brands under your wing from Ghana, and you said you're working with them on quality, right? Obviously, so when they come through you, we're going to expect that the quality is right. Now, when you met them and the quality wasn't right, I'm assuming that didn't stop you from saying you'd work with them or not. That made you say, okay, I'll work with you, but we're going to fix your quality. Is that right? So give us...
Yeah, it depends. If there's something I really can't work with, then there is no point. But if I see there is room for improvement and the designer understands and we can work on the products, then yes, I will work with them.
And do you see the designers you're working with, do you see them heading towards mass production, or you think it's just going to be, pockets of markets in different areas? Do you think we're going to see that African Dolce & Gabbana coming out of the designers you're working with?
Oh man, yes, sure. That's my vision. Otherwise, I can't stop right now. Mass production is a huge word. Mass production is what H&M does, so I don't want to go into mass production. But yes, bigger production that only couple pieces. And yes, sure. Otherwise, that's my vision.
and as you're working with them, I know you're pushing your designers in Switzerland, but is there anything that's going on here to say, okay, we're pushing you in Switzerland, but get your feet on the ground in Ghana as well, or that you're leaving to them?
I leave it to them, but what I realize is the designer I work with, that they're really also pushing it here.
Yeah.
So it's great to see as soon as they're out there, they're also more motivated to push it here.
Okay, and what about you, Moshe? The designers that you guys have in your field, do you see them and be like, okay, you're not up to scratch, but we like what you're doing, so we're going to work with you until you're up to scratch? Or is it hey, look, if you're not up to scratch, go back and come back when you are up to scratch?
It's really difficult to answer, because when I'm buying, it's also feelings of the same moment.
Mm-hmm.
So
are you the one that decides? Are you the one that? Oh, so you're the main man who chooses what should be sold. And what about, so do you do both men and women, or just women?
Men, women, kids.
Okay, but most of the money is in the woman.
Yeah.
Okay.
Correct.
And the new brands that work with you, are most of them involved in mass production, or are they sort of doing few pieces for your store and few pieces for?
Some are, some are produced very little quantity, and I buy what is available from stock, or they produce it for me.
Okay. Do you have a situation where people would randomly come to your store and ask you if you have a particular brand there, or mostly your clients just come and see what you have and they pick what they like?
Most of the time, they pick what they like.
Okay, but no one comes in and says, oh, have you got so and so from Korea, or you don't have that?
No.
So do you feel like by being a buyer, you are sort of also promoting? And because my theory has been, if let's say you are in Israel and you become a buyer to my clothes, my theory would be to, how can we market in Israel and let people know that we're selling at Moshe's store? Do you get designers that do this? Like, once you buy their stuff, they start advertising, or they just leave it to you to make the sales?
They leave it to me to make the sales most of the time.
Do you think that's wrong?
They announce we are in we have new stock in the stock list on their website, or something like this, but not.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's also the work we as an agent do. I mean, when we sell it somewhere to a store in Switzerland, then we make sure that we get some PR, we get some, everything. Yeah.
Yeah, because I think that's one thing that I feel designers need to understand. When the shops we have in Ghana are not buying your clothes, that's because they're not seeing value in your clothes. They're not seeing any returns. I think if the shops knew that once they're stocking your clothes, you're going to be promoting it and letting people know that they can buy it there, it's going to change their mentality, because they want to make money. So if I know I'm going to put these pair of trousers in my store and everyone's going to buy it because you're doing the work to promote it, I'm going to buy it. But I think personally, we have some really great brands, but there's a lot of laziness. And I don't think it's laziness as in they're not capable, but I think it's laziness because they're not used to the method of bias. So they think all I have to do is make a beautiful creation and everything should fall in place, the buyers and the stores and the clients, and and they don't sort of implement the hard work behind it. It's sort of like a musician that makes beautiful music and thinks that because my song is beautiful, I am going to be on MTV and I'm going to be on this platform. There's a whole lot of mechanism behind it. In fact, when I usually advise designers, I say it's about 10% designing and 90% work. And I feel that's why we have a lot of tailors, because everyone feels like, if I'm a tailor and I make this beautiful outfit, I'm going to be successful. And I mean, do you feel like as an agency, Melanie, do you feel like as an agency, when you meet these designers, this is where their mindset is at, and then you have to correct everything? Oh, I think we lost Melanie again.
Yeah,
she's having difficult times with the internet. No problem. So let me go with you, Moshe. When you were living in Congo, did you intermingle or engage with the fashion, any fashionistas? Not at all.
wasn't that business.
I remember there used to be a Congo Fashion Week, or is it Kinshasa Fashion Week? Did you ever?
I know all about it.
And how would you, from a fashion business person, how would you analyze their style? Because there used to be this thing called the sapeurs culture, where men will wear very colorful suits. Did you notice any of that in Congo?
No.
You just had nothing to do with the fashion industry in Congo, did you?
Yeah, I never saw fashion in Congo.
Okay, and did you, and just in the general public, did you see people embracing any designers, or they were just wearing normal plain clothes?
Oh yeah, the style. First of all, the Africans, they are very colorful in Congo, and you know. But also, you have a lot of rich people. You see a lot of fashion.
Yeah.
In Africa.
So most of them were wearing the African print, the colorful.
No, you see it, but not only.
Mm-hmm. And do you think that the market you have with the buyers and stuff, do you think that African print will appeal to them, or you don't think it will work?
The print is very cool. Depends the fabric.
Yeah, it depends which of them. Okay. I had a very big question for you, Melissa, before you got cut off, and I can't remember. I was asking, yes.
Sorry.
Do you think the designers you work with as an agency, that they have the mindset of understanding that it's 10% design and a 90% business, or do you just leave them to be themselves and then you just take care of all the business?
No, I think the designers I currently work with, they all understand the business, they all understand the industry, and they also understand that it is a win-win situation, you know, because at the beginning I was afraid that they think I'm a kind of a competition, or they wanted to be just that I have one brand under the agency and not several brands. So it was another understanding there, but meanwhile, the brands I work with, they understand that it's a win-win situation if they work with Hanimanns.
Okay, okay. And do you know any other agencies that are doing what you're doing with African designers?
I don't, but what I realized is that European agencies are now open also to African designers.
So what do you
think?
think?
Not that there is another agency out there only having African designers. That's very unique what I'm doing, but other agencies they're peaking now.
So what do you think the average, not the ones that you're working with and that you've groomed, but the average Ghanaian designer? I want to just get a few questions in and then we wrap up. What do you think the average Ghanaian designer who's making clothes right now in Ghana, from your experience, what sort of advice or what sort of steps would you say, look, stop doing this and start doing this, or go and do that and do that? What would you advise them from your experience?
I think when you do a fashion school, or there's a lack of education just about the industry. So I recommend them to learn, get some books, read blogs, read Business of Fashion, listen to podcasts, and just start to understand the industry as a business, and not just the designing part, not just the creating part. Okay.
And Moshe, let's say you have an African brand that really believes they should be stocking in your platforms. What are the main things you'll tell them? Look, you should get this right before you get in touch with us.
I don't know. I haven't seen any brands, so I cannot really say. So if you send me a brand list, I can tell you.
I can send you a brand list.
but let's say because I'm sure after this, hello? Yeah. I'm sure after this, some of them might want to reach out to you. So what would be the things you'll say, look, you have to, like, we know Instagram is one, we know website is one. What would be other things that you'll say, look, if you're messaging us, make sure you have this, and that checked?
I would like to start on drop shipping online system with African brands.
Okay.
For now.
Okay. And so I just want to close on the one last thing. Okay. I think with Melissa, I've been trying to get you to work exclusively with the Fashion Week because I think I had one long conversation with you that we need to organize our designer culture in Ghana. We don't have the same seasons, the autumn, winter, and the spring, summer as the West. But despite not having it, still we need to have a mode of operation where we know that the stores are welcoming clothes at a certain period, designers are working towards a collection at a certain period. It helps also to have a secure time where everyone knows if I go to Ghana, I can deal with brands at this period and see their clothes. And this is why I feel we really have to organize the fashion weeks. I feel if very necessary people like you and Moshe get involved with Africa, and we have working with designers in any format, which you're perfectly allowed to do because it's your business. But I feel if we do that, then the designers start to feel like, oh, well, I'm working with Moshe without necessarily being involved in the fashion week, which means forget the fashion week, you know? So what we start to do is we start to take out this instrument of organizing African fashion out of the picture. And then you're going to have this designer who will do their collection in March, another designer that does their collection in October, another designer in December. I don't know if you think it's something that one day you'll be like, look, I go to, you can tell that your designers, I go to here, here, and here on this date, on that date, and this date. I want all of you to start making your collections at a particular date and launching it at a particular date with this budget for your promotion and what have you. I don't know if that's something, I'm just giving a very general view, but I don't know if that's something you think at some point you're going to fixate, because I think the more we do that, then the more we can also in sync other buyers who are interested in the process, which can benefit your designers too. But I mean, I know everything is messy in Ghana right now, but how do you take that point of view?
I think it's very important to coordinate everything, but at the end, it is a business. And as a buyer, so what I know how it is, they get a budget and they get either a budget per season or a year budget, and they have to split the budget and start to consider how and when they want to buy a brand. And if they have spent all their budget and you have a fashion show,
right,
they won't buy anything because the budget is already spent before. So yeah, it's very important to coordinate everything. Absolutely.
And Moshe, what about you? Do you guys work in seasons, or just when the designer is ready, you take it on?
Well, you know, of course we work with seasons, but in seasons, for us, it's all year summer. So even in winter collection, we can make summer pieces.
Okay.
What I want to add here is season is really, I don't think season is winter or summer.
Right.
Season is just when the buyers have the budget to buy.
Right.
Story.
Right. So I think I'm going to put this last question to both of you before we go to your rounding up remarks. Moshe, when you work with designers, what is your what is your method? Do you buy it from them in quantities, or do they give it to you and then when it sells you pay them, or do you have another method that you work with? Okay, it's both, but it depends on the brand that will make you decide which one.
Yes, it depends on the negotiation.
Okay. And do some brands come and tell you, okay, this is the retail price, the price that you will pay for them, and then they also set the retail price that you sell it to customers, or are you the one that decides, okay, this is how much we're going to sell it to customers, and this is, or is that also?
We decide how much we're going to sell it to the customer, because we have import tax, we have the shipping to bring it in, and also we have the rent and the staff and so on.
Okay. But when designers approach you, they need to have all this laid out, from the fabric to the retail price. They need to have all their information per item set for you. Do they also need to have a lookbook?
Of course, yeah.
Of course.
Okay. So add to that, Melissa, like how do you work with pricing and sales and buy-in, and do you take it in advance and then when you sell it you give them a percentage, or do you say, here's the money, give me 20 clothes, I'm on my way? How do you?
Same thing as Moshe said, it depends on the negotiation. Either I buy it in advance so the designers can start producing, and then I give it to the stores, and then we have consignment deals or buying deals. It really depends.
Okay, that's cool.
It really depends on the deals.
And what about lookbooks? Because I know with you it's a little bit different. You're not only a buyer, but you're also an agency, so you're also grooming them. So whereas with Moshe, it's more like, come to me when you're ready. With you, it's like, okay, when you're ready, I'm here. But also, if you're not ready, I'm also an agency, so I will work with you. So when it comes to things that they don't, so do you find yourself doing a lot of educating with African designers?
It's not education. I would say it's a work together and giving tips and coming with feedbacks. Yeah, a lot. Yeah.
Okay, so at this current state that you're in, if someone wants to reach you and work with you and get things going on with you, what is your advice, or how do they reach you, or how do they go forward with it?
I mean, they can contact me on my website, hanimanns.com, or Instagram, Hanimanns. And what I always do, I take my time to sit down and talk to the designer. And then if I will work with the designer or not, this depends, but I will always take the time to at least sit down and see what is.
Moshe?
I'm following Hanimanns.
Oh,
thank you.
So you guys know each other online. So Moshe, right now, if someone says, hey, look, I want to stock in Israel, how do they go about it?
Yeah, it could be interesting.
No, they want to stock with you in Israel.
To work with me. Yeah, send me the lookbook.
Where do they send it to?
To my email, to my WhatsApp.
Okay, so we'll put that in the link below.
Easy.
So any last words? Any last words? Anything that I missed out? Melissa, any last? Moshe, go ahead.
Yeah, my name is Melanie.
Oh.
That's my last word.
You know what? I think I've started on my phone. That's why it keeps ringing. I'm so sorry, Melanie. I'm very, very sorry. I'm very, very sorry. I'll change it on my phone as soon as possible.
It's okay.
But any last words? Any other last words?
Other than that, no. Thank you for having me.
You're in Zurich.
Yes.
Very nice stuff.
Yes.
Very nice stuff. Very J.
Okay, so I think that means we should wrap up. So I think how do I do this? So I'm just going to give a little outro. So for all those who've tuned in, thank you very much. We wanted to have 3 buyers, but unfortunately there was a little miscommunication. But I think we've got the very necessary information that we need. Fashion weeks can try and do as much as we can to bring buyers, but Melanie being a witness to being at our 2017 show, trying to work with some of the designers, it seems that there's a lot more work that needs to be done in terms of presentation, in terms of branding, in terms of organizing, in terms of quality. There's so much that can be done. Luckily, we have some agencies that will work with you, but there are a lot of buyers that will look at your stuff and be like, you're not ready. So if you're tuning in, this is the virtual edition of Accra Fashion Week. This is our first virtual seminar. Unfortunately, we're not taking any questions because it's all pre-recorded and being presented to you today. So this was, if you're watching this now, it was recorded last week. I want to thank Moshe for coming here. I want to thank Melanie for participating. And I'd like to say that the fashion shows will be showcased tomorrow on www.youtube.com/Accra Fashion Week or www.facebook.com/Fashion Ghana. Thanks for tuning in and have a nice day.
Bye. Thank you.